And also, as we've noted, a very small percentage of people have articulated their purpose in life. But the purpose of an organization is self-evident. In other words, if they haven't articulated it, it exists whether they've articulated it or not. Same with the single highest priority of the job role. It exists whether anybody's talking about it or not. You know, a purpose statement is simply, why does this organization exist? And the answer to that question exists whether or not anybody's talking about it. Life purpose is very different.
That makes sense, because I can still have a life, be quite satisfied with my life, whether I've articulated it or not, and it may evolve over time. I can see
Correct.
that is just a wonderful distinction for me, is that people can understand their work purpose, even if they don't know what their primary long-term life purpose is about or sounds very exciting. Makes more sense to me. And it
Correct.
also makes, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and their work purpose is handed to them. It's crystallized. It's given to them.
Well, it's why customers pay for your services, but it doesn't though mean that I may know why people buy from the company or use the company's services, but it doesn't necessarily tell me what my job purpose is about unless somebody can help me connect that, or I'm smart enough to figure it out all on my own.
And you know what some people do? I'm glad you mentioned that. I was having lunch with a colleague a number of years ago. This is the whole manuscript has been incubating for years, as you will know, as an author yourself.
Yes.
But I was at lunch with a colleague, and he asked me this question. He said, "Steve," he said, "can somebody tap into their single highest priority at work, even if it hasn't been articulated for them and they're unaware of it?" In other words, can somebody be exceptional and reflect purpose at work if they don't know what the purpose is? And I really thought about that. And I came to the conclusion that they can. Absolutely, they can. And these are the superstars that you tend to see. And in the book, I write about the importance of codifying or systematizing or operationalizing excellence so that you don't leave it up to the individual. You don't leave it up to that superstar. You don't leave it to chance. You know, in many cases, if you're seated in a specific section of a restaurant, by virtue of the fact that you were seated in a specific section, that determines the quality of your customer experience while dining there. And if you just happen to get seated in the right section, you're going to have a great experience. But if you just happen to get seated in this other section, you may not.
Have a very different experience. All right. So that's an interesting idea, that you can exhibit purpose, you can act out purpose, even if you're unaware of it. We're talking about work. That may also be true in life, but I like staying in the work category. I
Yeah.
can relate to that one.